Welcome back to West Ham Irons United new show. I am joined. I nearly said welcome to West Ham Unofficial. Then we're not on that today. I'm joined for a new show with Matt today. This is the player rating show where we're going to give each player a rating out of 10 for the performance. For this one, we're doing it for the Man United loss that happened on the weekend. But firstly, Matt, good evening.
Evening, Jay. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Not too bad. New show today. We're doing this. We'll get straight into it then. So basically, as I said, we'll give each player a rating out of 10. And we will start with Lucas Fabianski. So, just before we do that, this comment's coming. Still lost weight and a lot of age. Oh dear. Yeah, we're starting on time. I try to be on time. But anyway, Lucas Fabianski.
Never on time.
Well, we were today. Matt. So for the Fabianski against Man United, what did you think of him?
He was probably one of our better players, and that's not really a good. Well, it shows you how the game went. Yeah, he made some really important saves, didn't he? He made a couple of really good saves. It kept us in the game, really, to give us a chance at the end. It's a hard game to start on because it wasn't even like we won. I'd say he was one of the better players, though. I'd probably give him like an 8. That's trying to be nice. I don't think I'm going to mark harshly. It's just we didn't play badly. We just didn't win. So Fabianski, I mean, you said he had them 2 really big saves, didn't he? That one in the first half was it when he tipped it onto the post, and there was one in the second half as well that he saved. So yeah, look.
Yeah, I think. I think personally for me, I think if he weren't there, I think we could have easily lost that 3-0 because either that push onto the post and then another really good save as well kept us in that game. I thought for the time being, but I think an 8's fair. I think he was one of our best players. Completely. Yeah. Our next player going on is at right back, and it's Vladimir. So Coufal, I'll start. I didn't think it was his best game of the West Ham shirt, but he didn't really do anything wrong, did he, Matt?
No, I was going to say I'd probably give him like, if you say obviously ratings are at 1 to 10, so 5's like bang average in the middle. I'd probably give him like a 6. Like maybe that's been a little bit harsh, but like I said, he did nothing wrong. I know we did lose 1-0, but he didn't do anything wrong, and we didn't do anything going forward, and he started at right back, right wing back even. He didn't have much chance to go forward, so he only really sat there defending. So I don't know. I'd give him a 6. I don't think I can. I'll try not to be too harsh or down or anything, but I don't know if I'm going to give him a 6. I think the attacking back is going to get even worse. But we'll keep going.
Well, people are putting them in the chat. Guys, I'm glad the professional pundit on tonight. Yes, that's Soucek. What else are people saying? Andy says he agrees with the Fabianski rating. Coufal 6 for me, gives everything every game. Completely. So moving on then, if we move on to the centre backs then, it's the one, the only Craig Dawson. Matt, I'll let you start with this one.
It's weird because I was going to say I was going to give him a 7, but I don't think I can give him a 7 because he scored an own goal. Because he didn't do. I was going to say he didn't do anything wrong. Well, obviously he did. He scored an own goal, didn't he? But like you said with Coufal, he's reliable. You know what you're going to get with him. I'll tell you what. I'll give him a 6 purely because he scored an own goal. I don't think I can give him a 7.
Yeah, I think there was a few moments in there, one kind of moment, and that own goal. I mean, to be fair, it's classed as an own goal, but he had to go for it, didn't he? He had to go for it. I mean, it was just unlucky on the end. completely on another day, McTominay would have got his head on that, and he wouldn't have got a 6. He would have got something a bit higher because it's classed down for an own goal. But some own goals can be a little bit harsher than others. Andy says 5 for Dawson. Anton's point, is that Dawson's worst performance? I mean, it's got to be up there. He didn't do massive amounts wrong, but he scored an own goal at the end of the day, didn't he?
Yeah, well, as I said, that's why I was thinking I still thought he played quite well, but I think, like we said with Coufal, he's set such a high standard for himself since he's come in that being slightly not of his standard he set, that you think it's a bad performance. So you could say his worst performance, but I still don't think it was a bad one. I just don't think it's up to the high standards he set. But I was going to give him I can't give him higher than what I give him because he scored the own goal. But like you said, if he didn't score it, I think Maguire was coming in behind him. Having said that, Maguire missed from a yard 3 days earlier. Maybe they're better off letting Maguire hit it and seeing what happened.
Yeah. I mean, they kind of, with that corner and with the corners, they bunched it all up together. They have the train that we have. I like to call it a train where it's Dawson, Diop and Soucek, where they just completely run when the ball goes and one of them tries to get his nut on it. But I think it was a bit crowded and we couldn't defend that one. I think people are saying 5, 7 for them. I think, around that area is where he's going. But next is his centre-back partner, is Diop. It's a Diop, Matt.
It's weird because, even this weekend, he's split the fan base. Because I thought he had one of his better games, but I've seen other people go on Twitter saying that he had a really bad game. So I don't know where I sit. I give him a 7. I thought he played really well. I thought he'd done the job he normally does, which is he wins the ball and he strides out and continues and starts the game up. Obviously, he can't really do that in the back 4 because then he commits out and leaves gaps in behind. But when he's playing in a back 5, when there's still 2 centre-backs behind him, that's what you want him doing. You want him winning. And there was one point, I can't remember, was it McTominay got booked when he pinched the ball and he just knocked it past him and sprinted past him. McTominay just blocked him off.
Yeah.
So for me, I'd give Diop a 7. I think he played quite well. But I know some people on Twitter were saying he was had an awful game. But for me, I think he played well. I'd give him a 7.
Yeah, completely. I think, some people came out and said that was his worst game that he's had for a long, long time. To be fair, I don't think he did a lot wrong in that back line. Apart from one mistake, I can't think of any other problems he had, really. Right, what are people saying? Andy says 5 for me, wasn't amazing, wasn't terrible. 7, says Luke, asked to defend for 90 minutes, wasn't his fault. Gary's also saying 7, so stale. GP's going for a 6 on that. I think we're in the right ballpark there, Matt.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, sitting on the fence at 7.5. I don't know whether we're doing 0.5 rating.
I don't like doing halves. I think you have to commit to a number.
Yeah, completely. Next one on the list is kind of our left wing back. I think he played. They were all a bit muddled together, weren't they? But Ben Johnson. I'll start with him. I mean, the two games he's had in the last 3 weeks, they've been against City and United, haven't they? And that's tough games for a young lad to come into. We're going to try and kind of come into. But the bit that got me a bit is I think he kept looking over to Moyes like, mate, what am I doing? Where am I going? What am I doing? For me, I think it is difficult doing this. But what are you going to say for that one, Matt?
Like you said, these last 2 games have been really the 2 top teams in the league. I was about to say 2 of the top, but they are the top 2 at the moment, Man City and Man United.
Yeah.
But he didn't, I don't know, he didn't, like you said, he kept looking at Moyes, he wasn't sure what he was doing. He kept giving the ball away. And I'd expected Noble, as his job on the pitch, to come over and try and calm him down. I don't want to be harsh on him because essentially he's a right wing back playing left wing back. and he's still young and learning. But I'm going to give him a 5. He wasn't the worst on the pitch, but he wasn't particularly great. I would say he was probably the worst of the back 5. It's being harsh, but because I think he's out of position, and maybe I should give him a 6 because he's doing a job out of position. But I think 5 based on how he played.
Yeah. Who kind of slot up into that centre-back position then? The third centre-back, it was, he's switching back 5, back 4, whatever we're doing, but it's Aaron Cresswell. I mean, Aaron Cresswell, we didn't have, he wasn't, would he be as noticed as Dawson and Diop in there? What did you think about Cresswell's performance, Matt?
Well, I'm going to give him a 7. I probably would give him higher, but I said that Fabianski was one of my best, and I only gave him an 8. So I've kind of restricted myself now on what I can give players. But like you said, considering where we were, say, 18 months ago with Cresswell, when everyone was just like, oh my God, Cresswell's going to start another game at left back, and we were dreading it.
Yeah.
So, something this season has just clicked. I don't know what it is. And whether he's now playing, left of the back 4 or tucked in on the back 3, he doesn't look out of place. And he always puts balls in. He always tries to offer an option. He's always solid defensively. He rarely now gets caught out of position, probably because he's got other people around him, so he's not getting exposed out on the wing as much. Or if he's on a wing, someone's tracking back and helping him. But I give him a 7. I think he's actually been pretty dependable this year, and he was again at Man United.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, 1-2 years ago, we were thinking, oh God, Cresswell, he's going to be exposed. Somebody with a bit of pace down there is going to absolutely batter him. But I think, under this Moyes, since the kind of coming back again, I think there's a new lease of life for him there. For me, I think it's another thing what Moyes has done, and it's superb. GP is saying 6. To me, 7 is a good game. 7 for him. 6. Cresswell was anonymous. I can't say that. I cannot say that word. But Jay Jazz says 7. Andy Miles says Cresswell 5 for me, was going to be 6 until we'd done that short ball on set pieces. Yeah, I think we've got them big geezers
6,
in the middle.
So I'm in the ballpark. So
yeah.
There.
Yeah, completely.
Yeah, well, he should never be taking set pieces short, should he? When our whole thing at the moment is that we've got big guys in the box, we should be each just whipping the balls in. Shouldn't be taking any short set pieces, Cresswell.
Oh, I know. I think we all get annoyed. I don't think any of us like going short because I just think that it's just with them big guys in the middle. It's just I think it's a bit pointless. And then with that free kick as well that we wasted, kind of slotting it down to Rice, kind of just we just wanted to get the ball in, don't we?
Yeah, just whip it in. So maybe I could penalise him for that because he kept taking he took the short ones. We don't want to do them. But again, the thing is, I think the defence done better than the attack and we lost. So it's probably all downhill from now, Jake.
Well, let's see. Let's go into the midfield then. And we'll start, I was going to say with our captain, but I believe Noble had the armband in the game. But Declan Rice is next. I think Declan Rice in that game, I thought he's had his better games. I thought he was a bit quiet at times. Matt, what do we think about him then? Declan Rice for that game.
I still think he had a solid game, but I think I don't know. Whenever we play Noble and make it midfield 3, Rice doesn't seem Rice and Soucek don't know what they're doing.
Yeah,
they seem happy as a 2. They seem happy. They know what they're doing. They know when they go, each other will cover. But it's when Noble's there, they're both well, if we go, is Noble going to cover? Do we have to cover Noble? I don't know. Rice and Soucek between them on a better wavelength. I think Rice had, he made a lot of interceptions, a lot of ball carrying. He didn't get anywhere near as far forward though. He was ball carrying, but he was carrying it from the edge of the box to 25 yards out and then passing it to someone else again. He was only carrying it like maybe 5, 10, 15 yards, whereas we've recently seen him making these like long busting 40-yard runs with the ball. But the tactics we played, he just wasn't allowed to do that. He, you know, in the first half, he was almost there was times he was dropping in to make a back six. I'm not going to be harsh with him. I'll still give him a 7. I think he was...
Yeah.
He done what he could, but I felt like he was restricted by the way we were set up.
I think, as you said, when Noble comes in there, there's a bit of not misunderstanding, but I think when it's just Rice and Soucek, I think they've got a very good understanding of each other. Just the two in midfield, they know each other's jobs. I just think when Noble comes in there, do you think he kind of upsets it a bit and kind of affects Rice or Soucek's game, do you think?
Yeah, it's weird because like we played a formation with other players in it, and if we played maybe a Fornals in that position, they'd know that Fornals is going to go high and press. You know, if we played that same formation against Arsenal and Jesse played in that position, which probably will do, he'll come back into that position. You'd probably see a lot different dynamic because they know Lingard's going to press high, he's going to stay high up the pitch. When he does drop, he's only dropping in to pick up the ball. Whereas, like, bringing Noble in, it's like you've got this combative holding midfield two where they both know one goes, one stays. And then you bring in Noble and it's like you brought in another one of the same. And then they're like, well, is it two going, one staying, two going? Who's dropping, who's covering who? It just seems to upset the balance between them.
Yeah, completely. There's a lot. I think the range for all of the players in this game is kind of going from 5 to 7, and we've had a couple of 8s come in. 7. That seems to be the range pretty much. And Mark says 7 as well. Andy says 7 for me. Solid. Have the ball away a bit, but done the hard work off the ball. Engine leader. Luke said Rice 10. Because he's the greatest player ever after Maradona and Tony Cotti. There you go. Jay says Rice is a proper grafter, puts 100% in each game. Not had a day sick. Yeah, I think you love a bit of Deckers, Luke. Well, there you go. It does seem like they do. He's come back and he says he is what West Ham have needed for decades, Jake. Yeah, completely. Moving on across that midfield then, we move to his normal, the second part of the dream team. It's our Czech midfielder, Tomas Soucek. I mean, I think it's a bit of the same story with Rice and Soucek. For me, I think that Soucek didn't have quite the impact that Rice did. So would it be hard? I mean, we gave Rice a 7, but that'd be harsh to give Soucek a 6, wouldn't it? I mean, this is where I like the 0.5s. They cause you a bit of handy. That's kind of what does it. Matt, what do you think? Between the 6 and 7, I mean, what do you think?
I'd still give him a 7. I'd probably argue the same way that I said for Rice. It was quite apparent for the first 60 minutes that our job was to get everyone behind the ball and just make it difficult to play. So we didn't even get to see either of the lung-busting runs from Soucek or Rice taking turns to get forward and support. I tried to hope that maybe Soucek was going to be like a number 10 and just play off of Antonio because of the height, because we had nothing else going forward. But defensively, he's solid. You know, he'd always put in a shift. You know, we've always seen what he does. He'll run to the end of the game and still be running afterwards. He'd always put a tackle in. Yeah. He's got good distribution. He didn't do much wrong in the game, to be fair. He didn't have much to do wrong. We just spent most of the time chasing the ball. If I give Rice a 7, I'd probably have to give Soucek a 7 as well. I don't think either one did more than the other.
Yeah, I think there's a few 6s that have came in. I think that's a little bit harsh giving him a 6, but let's see what people are saying. Going 6. They did a job on him. 6. GP's going 5 again. There are some low numbers here. 7, same as Rice. Never had anything to attack apart from one chance at the end of the first half, but worked hard as usual. Yeah, I've just seen this. Jake needs the Irons United barber. Oh dear! And here we go. He does. You got the clippers. Dad's not doing hair. That's for sure. He is not doing the hair. There's no way he's touching it. Right. Oh, stop trying to drive us off subject. We're trying to keep ourselves on subject here. So to make up the midfield three, next on the list is Mr. West Ham. It's Mark Noble. Mr. Noble, then, I don't think he did anything wrong, but I feel yet again the game it kind of surpasses him, it lets him go by. It's difficult, isn't it? I think, in my opinion, I'd go a 6. But Matt, what are you thinking for Noble?
Well, I said this before in the match day live, that, and I think I said in the review after, we haven't won a game this year when the three of them play together.
Yeah,
and I said at the start before the game that Noble's not a starter. Noble's a finisher.
Yeah.
He just doesn't have the legs. I know he's only 33, or was it 30, coming up for 34 at the end of this season, I think. But he's been in the first team since he was 17. Like, he's done 17, 18 years of first team football. He hasn't got the legs anymore. And it's really harsh because I've seen people giving up like 7s. And I'm sitting there debating between a 5 and a 6. I'll probably give him a 6. Because he does what he does. And it's nothing against him, but the way we set up and the tactics we have, it doesn't need a Mark Noble. Unless we're 2-0 up with 10 minutes to go and you want to take off one of the attacking players to solidify the midfield. But he's industrious, but he doesn't sit in position anymore. He goes chasing the ball. His job's always been pick up the ball, win it back, be annoying to the attackers. Don't let them settle. Don't let them get their rhythm in. Win the ball back and then pass it to the attacking player. But he was the attacking player of the three. So it was like the first half, you had Bowen playing, I don't know what position he was supposed to be playing. He was number 10, he was out on the wing. I don't want to just give him a 5, but it's because it's not his fault he got kids. And it's not his fault he plays the way he plays, but
Anton said on the preview that as soon as the press conference came out that Noble did well against United in the cup, Anton said, "I think Noble will start," and he did. And we saw the team sheet at 6:15, and did it bring you down? I think it brought us all down when we went defensive. But it's not Noble's fault. He's just been stuck in there by Moyes. He'll admit it himself that he's not what he was a couple of years ago. And I think a 6 is fair, don't you think? Definitely.
He got put in there to do the job that Fornals and Jesse have been doing in recent weeks.
Yeah.
Which is playing the attacking role, but doing the high pressing and filling in when needed. And I believe if Fornals hadn't picked up a knock, Fornals would have started in that position that Noble played in. And you probably would have seen a slightly different attacking game in the first half. That's not against Noble. Like you said, you know what you're going to get from Noble. You always have done. It's just it wasn't a game for him. But I'll give him a 6. He didn't actually do anything wrong. He just didn't really have any sort of positive impact on the team. He didn't negatively impact the team, but he sort of summed up the negative tactics that were instilled on the rest of the players in the team, saying, no, don't do this, sit back, be compact, don't go expressing, don't go attacking, until we went down. And I don't want to say it's because he came off, because it wasn't. It was just then we brought the more attacking players on, and then it was like, oh, now we can go do something. But I'll give him 6, because he didn't actually do anything wrong.
Yeah. I agree. If we move on to the front 2, I think we're talking now. We'll start with Jarrod Bowen. It's difficult with him. I think it really is difficult because we can all sit here and we can all say that that he's on off form. He's not on form. Whatever that's down to, we don't know. I think it's a bit the same as Noble in a way. I mean, he didn't do anything wrong, but I suppose he did have a bit of an impact. But it's just not what we were used to with what it's been in the last 10 games, has it?
No, well, I'm sitting here thinking the same question I just thought about Noble. Am I giving him a 5 or a 6? Because if I went just on the way he played, I'd probably give him a 5. But then at the same time, the fact he played about 4 positions in the first half, that the effort he put in, it sort of buffs him up a bit because he did really, like he said, if you go back to that first half, we essentially had 5 at the back. Well, it was 6 at the back, 2 in the midfield. Antonio was up front, and then Bowen was on both wings and playing centre attack in mid. It just had to be everywhere the ball went. So his final ball was off, and he admitted that himself. He wasn't happy with some of the final balls he had.
Yeah.
But when you're covering all that ground on your own, with no one else to help you, it's kind of hard. So I'll give him a 6. But if he plays the same way, if he played the same against Arsenal when we're playing a 3 behind the striker, then I'd give him a 5. Purely for the way that the amount of ground he's covered, the amount of positions he was essentially playing, I'd give him a 6.
Yeah, I think, for me, I'd agree with a 6. I think it's around that area. I mean, I think he benefits more. Hopefully, I think Fornals is going to be coming back in. Hopefully, he's going to be fit for Arsenal. I mean, Jesse Lingard, he's a massive miss in there, and you could you can tell that, can you? People are saying 6 for Bowen. People are agreeing with 6. 6 for me, worked hard off the ball, but never will want him to go up for a header again. 6 for Bowen, 6 for Bowen. So yeah, I think we're all agreeing in the chat and here with a 6. I think that's fair, innit? Pretty much a 6 for him. We move on to Michail Antonio up front. This could get a little bit interesting. Michail Antonio. It's difficult with some of these players, isn't it? It really is difficult because I think this was one of his better games that he's had since he's come back from the injury. But Matt, it's just,
you know what?
It's nearly there.
The other day, right, we were sorting all this stuff out behind the scenes, and we were talking about subs. We were saying when a sub comes on, like normally after the 80th minute, in the press, then we give them that not applicable because you didn't play enough of the game. And I want to sit here and give him a not applicable because he didn't get to do anything, and that wasn't his fault. We were so negative for 60 minutes that we just left him up front on his own. With balls weren't even going to him; they were just hoofing the balls up. I made the comment in the What Match Day Live that Maguire and Lindelof had the deck chairs out, the sombreros out, and had a Mai Tai relaxing in the sun because they had nothing to do. Poor old Antonio ended up 35 out from our own goal because he was just trying to get a touch of the ball.
Yeah,
it's I want to say to him, I'll give him a 6. I said 5's bang average, but he did put himself about, so I'd give him a 6. But I said I want to give him a not applicable and not downgrading him because it's he didn't do anything for 60 minutes. And he's at the point now where we don't have another sub to come on to play up front. You don't get to see the best of him all the time. If we had we brought in that one striker in January, anyone, so that he knew there was someone else coming on for him in the game if he got tired, you'd probably see that 10-20% extra in every run he makes because he knows once he gets to 60-70 minutes and he's tired, someone else will come on to finish the game out. Whereas now he knows we've got another 9 games left in the season. I've got to play 90 minutes for every single game. So I can't go 110% like I normally do in every game because I'm going to end up injured. So in some ways he's holding himself back. And the tactics we played was just send him up front somewhere for the first... Until we get the last half hour when we're going to go for it, just leave him up front and the ball might eventually come to him. I'll give him a 6. Maybe because that seems to be what the average score is.
It is difficult with players like him because I mean he didn't have a massive impact that we've seen from players in the past, but he did okay. I thought people are saying in the chat 6. There's a lot of 6s today. 5, 6, 6 again. Andy says 6 because he's now match fit, I believe. but had nothing to work off, was crying out for Benrahma in the number 10 to provide him. I think when the creative players came on, i.e. Lanzini, Benrahma, I think that looked a bit better there, didn't it? It did look a bit more lively. We created 2 chances within 2 minutes of them coming on, and it looked a bit better.
It did, but he'd been running around aimlessly like a headless chicken for 60 minutes before that.
Yeah.
Just trying to get a touch of the ball, so it was almost like wasted energy. But I'd give him a 6. There's not much he could have done. He had some input in the play once we got the attacking players on, but you can't mark him on the foot. That's why I said they're not applicable, because for 60 minutes he was just there as a body.
Yeah.
You could have had anyone up front. You could have had Ubiko up front. You could have had freaking Diop up front. It wouldn't have made a difference.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's move on to the subs then, and we'll start with the first one that is Said Benrahma. For me, I think the other sub made a little bit more of an impact than he did, but I just think his presence there helped other players for me. I think that's what Benrahma does, and we all know that he should have started. But in terms of rating then, Matt, I mean, it's around that area again, isn't it?
Yeah, I want to be nice, because they actually did make it, they both made an impact. But at the same time, we still had no shots on target.
I know.
So it's like, how much he came on at wing, but like Stell said in the Matchday Live and in the review, it's no good bringing them on when we're 1-0 down, because the mentality changes. They're under pressure. You're now chasing the game. The pressure's on them to make something happen. If he'd have been on the pitch at 0-0 when we're still counter-attacking, you may have seen more out of him.
Yeah.
I think I'm giving him a 6, because I don't like giving halves. So
yeah. We'll go 6 again for Benrahma. I think I agree with that. I mean, 6 or 7 is where we're at with Benrahma. I think he did all right. His presence made us look a bit more livelier going forward. But in that half an hour that them two were on the pitch, we still didn't have a shot on target, but I mean, we didn't have that for the first 60 minutes anyway, did we, with them? But I think, it's difficult. They came on at a difficult time, and it was just difficult. Right, let's see what people are saying. 6 again, 6.5. We're going in the middle. We're sticking on the fence. 6. And it says 5. 5 for me. Had a lot of the ball, but not many in the box. Benrahma 7. Benrahma 6 came on too late. 8.4, or is that 8-4? I don't know what Peach.
8 for Benny. Peach
8, I think. 6, but should have started. I think. I mean, let's hope that he would have had a bit more of an impact if he started. Well, he would have done, wouldn't he? I think it's difficult with Benrahma, isn't it? I really do think it's difficult. We move on then to the final sub, and it's Manuel Lanzini. Matt, I'm going to hand this one straight over to you. Lanzini, what did you think of him, and was he better than Benrahma, do you think, out of the half an hour that them two had?
Well, I'm actually sitting on the fence between the two of them for Benrahma, but for Lanzini, I'm going to give him a 7. I don't think he's ever good enough to start a game. So if we was talking about starting, I would have definitely started Benrahma. And I think Benrahma probably would have benefited from starting the game. But Lanzini coming on with half an hour to go to play in that number 10 and link up the play when he's got when he's got legs around him to carry pace, because once again hasn't got any more. I think he done well. He dropped in between the lines. He was picking the ball. He was making the passes. It was one of his better games recently, to be fair. It's probably one of his better games he's had this season. It's just like we said, though, the problem was it got down to that final end product to, like Bowen said after the game, that last ball just let us down the whole time. And, we had that bit of link-up play in between, because in the first half, there was nothing from front to back. It was just hoofing up and hoping Antonio got it. And Lanzini was sort of putting that gap in the middle between the front and the back. I think he did make a difference. But then again, that's the job 4 hours. He came into the job that 4 hours and Lingard would do. And he was moving the ball quickly. It was nice passing. He was getting his eye in. but he just hasn't got the mobility or the pace anymore. That injury a couple of years ago just ruined him. But from coming off the bench in that position, I thought he'd done really well. It's just a shame we still didn't get a clear-cut chance.
Yeah, he looked sharp, I thought. I really do think he looked sharp. So we're going 7, 6.5, 6, 6. And it says 6 for me, even though he had a lot of the ball, expected more shots even outside of the box. 7, Lanzini 7. He gets the ball moving, short 1-2 passes is what we needed. Yeah, I think it was just a bit of sharpness, just a bit of movement that we needed. Definitely right. This is where the numbers are going to go down from a 6 a little bit. I can feel it in my bones. It's the last man we're going to rate, and I see some of you saying, "Are you going to rate Moyes?" We definitely are. Now let's rate the gaffer, David Moyes. Now this could get a bit tasty. David Moyes. I just seen the first one that's come in straight 0. Oh dear. Right. In all seriousness, then, well, I think we all agree that the starting lineup isn't what we wanted. I just seen that -5.
-5.
I think let's not do minuses. Right, let's just break it down a little bit then. I mean, that starting lineup, Noble was in there. We all knew what the starting lineup was, but Noble was in there. We had all of that there. He went defensive against Man United again, didn't he? He went defensive against Man United again, and that's the bottom line, I think.
I would say he didn't get it massively wrong. Like, I think he got it slightly wrong, but the slightly wrong he got it wrong, like, massively impacted the game. Because for me, if he'd have just not had Noble in that team and had Benrahma out on the wing, and you had your 5 at the back, your 2 in midfield, and 3 up front, and you could have left them 3 up front and said, well, the Man United have either got to sit back and mark up with 3 with a 4, or leave them on the counter and see if they get exposed, and we'd have offered more going forward.
Yeah.
But the fact that he decided to put Noble in, and then there was like, you could see in that first half, especially getting near the end of the first half, that he was giving them clear instructions, like, don't go forward. Like, we were winning the ball back. And I can't remember, I think it was either Ant or Stel, it might have been Ant that pointed it out, like, at the end of the first half. We won the ball back right near the end of the first half. Declan Rice won it, and he passed the ball forward, and he went to run forward, and he looked around and was like, "Oh no, I better jog back." And like, we had like a 7 at the back, and no one wanted to go forward. It was just Antonio was 35 yards out, and he was the guy up front. It's like you're halfway inside our own half. Like, he gave them too much respect. The tactics were far too negative, and that was shown in the fact that he felt we needed to play Noble over Lanzini or Benrahma.
Yeah.
He had to play more defensive players because we had a lack of attacking players in that game. Because Yarmolenko's injured, even you could say maybe because Fredericks and Masuaku were injured. Because we've seen Fredericks play that attacking right side because of the pace he has. We saw that against Villa, Fornals and Lingard. So a lot of his attacking players were out. So he had to play a more defensive team because he didn't have the attacking players to do it. But that one change in the Noble, and then the instructions that clearly there were like, don't get forward, have a bank of 5 and a bank of 4, and let's be hard to break down. Really, like, we said it before the game started, it's just going to be how long till they score, because we're not going to hold them out for 90 minutes when you've just got constant waves of attack. And that's what it was. But once we conceded, he sort of redeemed himself a bit, because as soon as that goal went in, he had Benrahma and Lanzini waiting to come on. But then at the same time, you're thinking, well, all right, he's made the attacking sub, but why did he wait until that goal went in to make it? Why didn't he give it 5 minutes to the second half and go, no, the defensive isn't working, we'll get him on? So for me, he's going to get the lowest rating of the day. But I'm probably going to go with like a 4. I don't like doing halves, I'll sit between 3 and a 4. I'll give him a 4. Because it was...
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. It's difficult.
It was like one step forward and 2 steps back.
Yeah. That does look like I've gone -4 there, and I realise I've done that for all of them. It wasn't -4; it's 4. We haven't given him a -4. Yeah, I agree. I think it's not the lineup we wanted to see, but I think people saying to bring the subs on at half time. I think at that stage we were defending well. I think as soon as the goal went, I thought he acted quickly. I think we said at some point, it said Nolan was standing there talking to them usually as he does for 6 minutes, telling them what to do. But yeah, I think 4's a fair one. Right, I'm going to dive into the comments. What are people saying? Where I scroll back up. So the first ones we had was 0, 4, -5, 4. Oh dear. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people saying, I'll give Moyes the same amount of shots on target we had. Seems fair. Right, Peach has gone from -100,000 to 4 for Moyes. Don't quite know what he's doing there. What's this sarcastic comment? Great show. At least Matt gets to stay up for a while when it finishes. Yeah, all right. Yeah, all right. Here we go. Thank you very much, Anton. Richard, I think Jake deserves to stay up a bit later. Thank you very much. Gatesy's in the chat. I think we've wrapped that up there then. We've gone for a 4. Right, let's just go through them then. So we went Fabianski 8, Coufal 6, Cresswell 7, Dawson 6, Diop 7, Johnson 5, Rice 7, Noble 6, Soucek 7, Bowen 6, Antonio 6, and for the subs we went I believe we went 7 on each, and I put 6 on one of them. Lanzini, I don't know whether that was 7 or 6, and we went for 4 for Moyes. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, the lowest rating was Moyes, and then for a player it was Johnson, out of his comfort zone. But I think that's fair. A little bit of sarcasm in the chat with -5. Well, thank you very much to WMP for the £5 donation. Enjoyed this new show. Works really well. Good work live streaming and in chat. Feels friendly, fun, welcoming community stream. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for the WMP. Donation, mate. Watch Jake now out the average score in his head. I don't know what he talked about. Make your sentences make sense first, because I only read that quickly, but make your sentences make sense.
Average score, I think that must have been about 6, I'm guessing.
Yeah, definitely. Matt, I think that's it.
That is it. Hopefully
we've done our ratings. Hope you did enjoy. Hopefully after the Arsenal game, there's a few. We might creep into the 9s. There might be a 10 in there. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what performance
to give out next week. I'll tell you what though, if Moyes does the same tactics next week, he's getting less than a 4.
Please donate to not see Anton on the channel. I'm sorry, Anton. I know you're in the band, but I'm just. Oh, right. I can see he's typing. He's going to type something now. But thank you very much. Hit the like button. Subscribe to West Ham United if you are new. We'll be back very, very soon. I'm just waiting for... he's going... there we go. Matt, do you want to say something now?
Yeah, also make sure you subscribe to Jake's channel if you haven't already.
Thank you very much. Yeah, West Ham Official, go over there, subscribe. It's on the ticker bit there. Make sure you go over there and subscribe. I think that's it. Thank you to everybody in the chat for watching. And from me and Matt. Oh, hello. I've just seen that. Right.
Our rating for us. Oh, the rating's going to get rated.
For us. Oh, dear. That is tough. But subscribe if you are new. Hope you've enjoyed the new show. Hit the like button. I'm just going to try and wait and see if we get any. Here we go. We're going. Right, we're going 10 out of 10. We're going Jake 10, 10. Matt 10, 10. Anton 10.
That -10, I think.
-10. That might be -10. Jake, same time as bedtime, 8. give them 10s. Still late. Well, you knew this show wasn't run by Stell because we were here bang on time. Oh, I'm Jane again. I always get called Jane. These typos, honestly. You knew Stell wasn't doing this show because we were here on time. We were here bang on 7 o'clock. Jake knew bedtime 9:30. 3 points. That's a bit harsh.
3.2.
3.2. Oh, we're out. We're out. Thank you very much for watching. Subscribe. And from me and Matt, come on, you irons.
Come on, you irons.